As promised, here is a video on the new reader's response. Okay, so we are starting a new reader's response that will be due this week. It's response number 14, and it's due this week, the week of February 22nd through the 26th. Now, this response has a lot in common with the previous response, but there are a few differences that I thought I would highlight in a video, so I hope this is helpful. Okay, so paragraph 1, very similar to the old response. It's on a summary. The nice part is that the response rubric includes really specific criteria and point values, so students know exactly what's expected. Paragraph 2 is slightly different. They're still going to be talking about their reading thinking. However, they are now expected to use thinking stems. They're expected to use thinking stems in order to really articulate their reading thinking and encourage them to use academic language. So paragraph 2 is going to include 3 thinking stems and text evidence to support their thinking. This one's pretty direct. If they do 3 thinking stems, they get 20 points. And the text evidence is where they really need to step it up, because if their paragraph 2, like the thinking stems and the text evidence, is kind of jumbled up or doesn't flow together, they could lose points, and that could drop them down to these areas right here. So it really needs to be, that text evidence needs to be very clearly communicated and align very closely with their thoughts from the text. It should all flow together and be cohesive. The thinking stems come from an anchor chart that we did in class. They also copied these into the reader's notebook, and these are what they're going to be expected to use. I've asked them to underline in their response the thinking stem, and then they don't need to underline their own thinking that they kind of input into these blanks. Paragraph 3. It still is a goal paragraph in that they're going to be talking about their goal. It's going to sound a lot like the old paragraph in this part, in that my goal for last week was to come up with 4 questions as I was reading. I met this goal. I'm going to change my goal next week to 5 questions, and I will track it in my response section on page 15. The new part is that I'm asking them to record one specific part of the text where they monitored or adjusted their comprehension and explained how it helped lead to understanding. Most students inaccurately assume that if they monitor or adjust their comprehension, it's because they don't understand what they're reading, and that is just not true. So I'm trying to get them away from that by adding this section. We are going to be talking about this anchor. We're going to use this anchor chart next week, but I thought I'd show it on this video anyways. So here's where we talk about what monitoring comprehension is and give many examples as to ways good readers monitor their comprehension. They set a purpose. They make note-taking a habit. Those are both ways to monitor your understanding. They ask questions. They summarize in their head as they're reading. Again, those are ways to monitor comprehension. They visualize. They make connections. All of those are ways to monitor comprehension. Let's see. Final thing is they are expected to attach a copy of the rubric to every single response they turn in. I told them just to put a little line of glue along the back, stick it on the page that they wrote their response, and it will be a little flap, and their grade will be recorded on this sheet. The checklist is optional this time. They can use it or they cannot use it. I've told them it's really helpful, and I encourage them to use it, especially while this response is new, but that is up to them. So I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to send me an email. Thank you so much.